How's it, everybody? This is Dayne from the Mzansi Gunner Podcast on Gunnercast SA YouTube page. Thank you for joining us today. We have some familiar faces and a new face, so we just wanted to go through the panel today. We have Tim, who's going to be leaving us at the hour mark. He's going to be sharing mostly in the beginning, and then we'll get everyone's opinions more at the end when he drops off. So say hi to us, Tim. Just give us a quick wave there.
How are we doing, guys?
And then we got Alex on the middle top, and he's as you can see, everyone is wearing black and yellow today. So Alex is wearing yellow. So say hi, Alex.
Evening, everyone.
And then we've got Langton on the bottom left, wearing yellow in the kit from 23-24, the away kit. Hi, Langton.
Evening, guys. And
then our new person is Ashwin, but he's very active on the Facebook group. He's been a moderator for a long time. So how's it, Ashwin?
How's it, everyone?
Cool beans. We're not going to do lots of introductions today because we've got a lot of content to cover. There's just been so much going on. There's been UCL draws. There's been a few fixtures that we've had. Then there's the totality of the transfer window, looking at incomings and outgoings in terms of the amounts of that we've spent. We had a whole bunch of players go out on the 1st or the 31st of August, so just before the window closed. So we've got a lot of things to talk about, and then it's nice because we have this international break, so we can actually get through everything. And then we've got 3 big games coming up before our next pod, so we're going to look at previewing those, and we're going to review the Liverpool game, which was obviously a big game as well. So that's a bit of what we're going to be doing on the pod tonight. But I just wanted to highlight the 2 venues that are for Arsenal, the Arsenal SA Supporters Club, that are going to be active in South Africa in this season. So we've got Johannesburg, we've got Fourways Hooters, and then at Durban we've got Umhlanga Hooters. So please do check out those venues. They had 190 people at Johannesburg for the Liverpool game, and I don't know how much they had at Durban, but things were going well. I think SuperSport was at Durban, so SuperSport is also getting on board. I think they've become a SuperSport venue. So that's quickly the venue stuff out the way. Let's get going with the agenda for tonight. And does anyone have it in front of them? Because I realize I don't have it in front of me. I think it's looking at the results from the Liverpool game. We can just start with that. So, Tim, what did you think of the Liverpool game? And I know that you are going to be doing something about XG on your channel, on your podcast. But some of the other points that we had, just tell us about what you thought about the game in totality.
Yeah, well, hello, everyone. Great to be back on it. Thanks, Dayne, again for the invite. I think my headlines are, I think the reaction to the game has been probably more intense than the game itself. The game was pretty poor, really, for a sort of title decider or title challenger decider game that it was billed to be. The anti-Arsenal media went into full effect the moment the 90th minute the whistle ended. Suddenly the preconceived narratives were already being published. It's like people had already written the article before the game and just clicked push. There was nothing about the actual game in any of the discussions afterwards. It was kind of like the narrative about Arsenal not coming to play and being super negative and stuff. No one thought Spain was negative for playing Marino in midfield, right? They just beat France 5-4, Marino scoring a goal. I just think a lot of the chats that have happened after the game don't make any sense. We went to Anfield, and if you listen to the Pattern Play podcast, I said this kind of analogy about boxing. Felt like it was boxing, where you have 2 really, really good boxers. They're a bit nervous to go into the pocket. You don't want to get too close to get a right hook or a left hook, and then the round is over, you're knocked out. And we sort of circled each other. Liverpool circled Arsenal, Arsenal circled Liverpool. We didn't lay a knockout blow. There were no hard punches until Szoboszlai landed one from 32 yards. And That's it. That's elite football. When you go to Anfield, you keep the crowd quiet, you keep us in the game, and we had opportunities to score with Eze and others. I just think we did our job, and getting 0 points at Anfield is a bit disappointing given how well we played, but this is the reality of coming up against the champions of England and other big clubs. Is sometimes you're going to lose, but I thought it was a good game overall, and we certainly didn't get found out. I've seen that happen a lot over the last 15, 20 years. That wasn't like those games. I think the tactics worked. The lineup roughly worked. I would have liked Eze over Martinelli. But that's it, really. I don't have many complaints.
Yeah, no, that's a good summary of events, as we know that the media likes to give us a hard time. Let's get Ashwin's views, someone new. So what was your views on the Liverpool game and anything that you took from it? And also in response to what Tim shared.
Yeah, from my perspective, I saw after the game a large debate regarding Arteta and the approach that he takes in these big games, more regards to it. They say he's very conservative with his approach. I guess when you're playing probably the best team in Europe at the moment, I think Liverpool has done phenomenal work in the transfer market. And watching them last season, they're a phenomenal team, a phenomenal club doing good things. Tom did mention that, Eze, he was hoping that Eze starts. I think it was a bit too soon. I think at that stage, Eze had 3 training sessions. And I think Arteta wasn't ready to take the bull by the horn from that perspective, considering Martinelli was our starter for the past couple of seasons, him and what's his name, Trossard. I think it would have been premature for Arteta to just start Eze. I was hoping that he would start Eze out or play Eze, but earlier in the game, considering the performance by Martinelli. Everyone that knows me would know that I was a big advocate for Martinelli, but recently, and considering the frustrations we all experience when we watch him, when he plays for Arsenal at the very least, I think it's time for him to be put onto the bench earlier in the season and rather bring him on as a super sub. But I wasn't disappointed at the result. We just didn't take our opportunities. We had a very good first half. The second half, Liverpool obviously was the better team. And Szoboszlai, which is one of my favorite players, even before he came to Liverpool. A lot of people would know I follow a podcast by Tom Canton, the Gunner Talk, and during the COVID period, he was mentioning this player. So I started following this player, and I was really disappointed to see him join the likes of Liverpool. But I don't think any keeper could stop that free kick. And we move on. It's not the end of the world. It's not a fatal loss. We're still early in the season, and we've got the toughest game for Arsenal at the very least. In a way, at Anfield is the toughest game for us in the season. It's out of the way, and losing by 1 goal. We need to move on. I'm ready to move on. At that moment when we had when he scored it, I was ready to switch off the TV, and that's the usual Arsenal supporter flip-floppy type of approach. And then taking everything into consideration.
Hard on yourself.
Yeah, no, we need to also mention that our guys, yesterday we were the best team. We were winning the title, and then 1 loss, and you'd swear the world is falling apart. So yeah, I'm happy. We got it out of the way, and we weren't that poor. I just expect Arteta to be more brave going after the international break. I expect him to be a more brave coach going forward, tactically as well. But we'll get to that. All right.
I agree about the bravery. I think I actually agreed with the starting lineup. I think it was a good starting lineup because of needing to contain Liverpool's threat. And I was actually a bit worried about Calafiori, but then he did so well against Salah. So he's been playing really well. We'll talk about him a bit later in the pod. And the only criticism that I really had for Arteta was to wait until 70 minutes to bring on Eze. And I can't remember who else came on. It was Darman much later, and then it was Odegaard. Yes, Odegaard. Yeah, thanks. So I think he should have brought them on at 60 minutes. I think we didn't go for the win, therefore it felt like we were going for a draw, and then we ended up losing. So I think the timidity there was the concern for me, and that I think is a valid criticism of Arteta. So what are your thoughts, Alex? And do you mind do you have a light that you can put in front of you? Because there's a light behind you, so you're a bit dark. Yeah, that's a bit better.
Okay, thanks, Dayne. Greetings, everyone. So my thoughts from the game is that it was actually a very even game, and I'd say it was a game where it was a tale of two halves, where there was actually not much in it. So I'd say that in the first half, we actually kept Liverpool quite quiet. We actually contained them pretty well, I'd say. And then in the second half, you could tell that things started to pick up and Liverpool started to be a little bit more free, a little bit more creative after those subs that they made. And then obviously there was that the free kick. But I'll say that overall, it was just a frustrating game because, I mean, we've not won there in the past 12 times that we've actually been there. So it's actually something that I do agree with, that our coach needs to be a bit more braver when we go to these fields away. So be it Anfield, be it Etihad, we just need to be a little bit more brave. But I'd say that there was not much in it, and we're pretty much evenly matched throughout, besides that the free kick. So so at the end of the day, it does suck, and it's actually 3 points. 3 points dropped, and if we had gotten a draw, it's actually 1 point dropped. But I'd say that overall, not a bad performance for the third game into the season. I just wish that going forward, we can be a bit more braver, bring in some of these subs a little bit earlier, and just actually go for it. Because I feel like Liverpool as well, they're not playing at that level as yet, at that high level. They're still also easing into the games. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts.
Thanks, Alex. I think those are good thoughts. I'd like to come to Langton next. Langton, what did you think about, this comment here about, it's kind of what we've been saying, it's echoing what we've been saying. But what do you think about the amount of goals that Liverpool conceded in their 3 games before we played them? They conceded 2 against Palace, 2 against Bournemouth, and 2 against a 10-man Newcastle. So do you think they were there for the taking and we didn't capitalize on that?
Good evening, guys. Thanks, Dayne. I think I missed some of your what you were saying just now. I missed some of what you just said. Are we talking about the Liverpool game, or you just said something that?
I just said. No worries. I just said Liverpool had conceded 6 goals in their previous 3 competitive games.
Oh, okay.
Playing us, and do you think that they were more? I think, especially with Szoboszlai at right back, do you think that we missed a trick by playing Martinelli for so long against Szoboszlai when he wasn't being effective? And you think we should have made a change earlier or put some more pressure on? Okay. Even made Gyökeres run more to the left. I know he does that, and he's one of these things that he does is he kind of tails off to the left. But I think we should have put more pressure on Szoboszlai as an attacking midfielder in at right back.
Okay, no, but okay, thanks so much. I think first of all, with Liverpool going into that game, having considered all those goals, I personally thought to get a goal or 2, draw or win the match. I wasn't expecting a loss. But having said that, I think both teams came with defense, especially with Arteta. We haven't won there in since 2011. Yes, still since 2011. So it plays a mind as well. That played a mind as well on our coach. And as of the substitutions, I think we have been following Arsenal, especially with Arteta, for a very, very long time. He doesn't make substitutions up until maybe 60, 65, 70 minutes, somewhere there. That's our coach. Even if one player is not effective enough, he doesn't make changes like during halftime when a player comes, a new player comes on, and then whoever wasn't in the game will be out. That's it. But I felt very, very bad that we only had one shot on goal, and our striker Gyökeres, he didn't have much supply to test Liverpool goalkeeper. But above all, I think that game came early in the season. Had we played maybe Sunderland or whatever, West Ham, all those small teams, so-called small teams, and we won the game, you would have talked much and said, oh, we are good. But that game came early, and thank God we played well. We lost with Liverpool pound to pound. We lost the game. Maybe it's time to go back, fix whatever that needs to be fixed. But with Eze coming on in the 70 minutes somewhere there, I think it wasn't bad for a new player coming on at that time. But he would have given us a goal. When he came first, he was almost face to face with the goalkeeper, but I think he delayed his shot there. But above all, I wasn't. I felt bad, yes, to a point that I didn't go like. When we're playing these big games, I always want to watch them at home, so that when we lose, I just go to bed. So I didn't go to Fourways because in that game that we lost. Yeah, that's me, guys. You have to get used to that. My family knows if we're playing big games, that I feel like we might lose this game. I always watch them at home. When I lose, I just go to bed because I know that driving from Fourways with all these other rival friends phoning and laughing at me, it's very, very bad. But that's me. Yeah.
Langton, you missed out last season. I watched Man City when we dismantled Man City 5-1 at the Arsenal Supporters Club, and it was amazing. It was lit. So you got to take a risk at least once or twice a season. I understand what you're saying.
I heard you saying this game there were 190 fans there. So I thought, oh, maybe I missed that, but I'll try to go there. And the thing is, my wife doesn't like soccer and she doesn't like driving at night. If I go with her, maybe I'll try to teach her to come and watch with me, and then she can drive, because driving it, I love that team, guys, but that's me.
No, that's fair. It's fair. Man. I mean, it looks like the big games are now at 5:30 on a Sunday. It looks like that's what the way the fixtures are falling. Anyway, yeah. And then I think let's move on because we've got a lot to get through. So anyone else have burning points that they want to share about the Liverpool game, or can we go on to the next point?
Yeah. From my side, Dayne, just a quick question, like to the team, to the panel. Earlier I mentioned that we think Arteta's or we see him as a very conservative manager or coach. So, I mean, we basically knew what type of setup he was going to bring to the game. And when I say we want him to be brave, we've not seen him play, let's say, 2 8s. You know, we're chasing the game, or we want to score. Why not take that risk as a manager or as the coach? What is his title now, manager or coach? It doesn't really matter to me. But you know, when we need to take the opportunities. I mean, we know we've been watching Arsenal for more than 20 years, and we've seen it time and time again, especially in the big games. If we do not score, let's say in that first half, it's a 0-0, and it's we've got 30 minutes left in the game. We're most likely to take a hit, and it's a smash and grab. Why not take the risk as a manager? I mean, when he approached the game, the lineup had, I think it was Mourinho, Rice, and who else was in the midfield? Shucks, I can't remember, but it wasn't a very creative approach to the game for me. Who was in the midfield besides Mourinho and Rice?
Yeah, it
Sorry,
was
I couldn't hear
Zubi.
you.
Zubi,
Oh,
Mendy,
Zubomendi.
Rice.
I mean,
Yeah.
there we go. I mean, those are all, they're not very creative. And then you have this striker up front. I understand you're trying to contain them, but at some point you have to be willing to take the bull by the horns. I don't
Yeah.
think it was the right approach in that
No, I
midfield.
think that's a fair comment. I think I agree. I think the midfield. I was fine with the midfield, but Shannon made a point on the group that Marino would play like a second striker at times because of his role that he had done earlier on in this or last season that he had done for us. So he
And
would be
he also
another-
scored, didn't he, mate? He scored against Liverpool twice last season, I think, as well, in both the home game and the away game.
I do think, though, that we just waited too long to make attacking changes like bringing on Odegaard or bringing on a Wanyeri or an Eze into the midfield. So I think that was the error, was waiting too long. I think I'm fine with the starting lineup. I actually think it contained them. I mean, it reduced them to an XG of 0.3, according to Scott Willis on Canon Stats. And I know that Tim has told us on the group that we were on that there's different XGs for all the different XG philosophy, SofaScore, FOTMob, all have different XGs for the game, which is another whole discussion. You can join in on his podcast. But we contained Liverpool. I think that's what we need to realize, is that we did well.
Yeah. Okay.
Then just on the negativity thing, I think if I can add one further thing on that point is I don't quite know where it comes from, in the sense of Arsenal, the Arsenal I grew up with Henry, Bergkamp, Wiltord, Kanu, Anelka, Fabregas, Nasri, RVP, etc. This Arteta team, the one that gets criticized for being negative, is the team with the most goals, 89, I think it was in 2022-23, and then 91 in 24-25. I don't get, like last season, we hit Manchester City 5-1. We got the Crystal Palace game 5-1. We beat Madrid across 2 legs 5-1. We got Eindhoven, I know because I was here and everyone was depressed in Eindhoven afterwards. We smashed them 7-1. I don't really get where the idea that Arteta is some sort of rebirth of Mourinho comes from. We smash teams, man. We Crystal Palace 5-1, West Ham 5-2, just a few more results from last season. I just want to say I think we fall into the trap again of the anti-Arsenal media, Schmeichel, Owen, Ferdinand, people who don't like us. And they say we're negative. They say Arteta is terrorist ball. Where does it come from? We watch our team, and I've seen us score more goals than when we had the best player in Premier League history, Thierry Henry, supported by the Invincibles. We score more goals now. We win more games now. So I don't know, man. I feel we fall into the trap sometimes, laid for us by Sky and other providers.
Okay. Awesome.
I think that's fair. I think let's go on, though, because we could stay on this topic for a while. Thank you for everyone for sharing. And just want to go to some of the comments. I think this is Sesk. Is this Sesk? The surname looks like, and the picture does look like Sesk. So Sesk on the who's also been a panelist before said, is that Kylian Mbappe thinks Arsenal will win the EPL? Can anyone verify that? Sesk, we know you and your sources, so we need to get some sources. Not Tabasco sauce, but good sources.
Tomato sauce.
And then we have got a comment here from Nkanyezi. He would try Rice at 6, which is where he thrives, and Zubomendi as an 8, and Eze or Ethan at 10, just to try new formations and ideas. I think Ethan is going to mainly play at a 10. I think the kind of him playing at right wing, it showed when Diamond came on instead of Ethan in that game, and we needed a goal after Saka had gone out injured. I mean, not Saka, after Noni had gone off, they brought on Dayne. So it just seems Dayne is willing to play at right wing and Ethan is not willing to play there. I think that must have been in the contract negotiations. And then I don't know about swapping Zubimendi and Rice. Does anyone know if Zubimendi has played 8 before? I know that Rice has played 6, and I think it's fine to play Zubimendi. Rice there sometimes, but he's also thrived. And I did think Rice didn't have a good game against Liverpool. So let's just go here to another comment. I just want to quickly get through the comments. The same Zubimendi Mourinho started. This is from Sposiso, who's also one of the panelists. Started for Spain with Pedri in another non-creative midfield, and then linked up and scored for Spain. I think that's fair, but I do think, Bulgaria are, I think, 86th in the world, and Spain are 2nd in the world, so it's not the same as Liverpool and Arsenal. And then Pedri is quite creative, so I think definitely Mourinho and Zubimendi aren't as creative, so that's a fair comment. And then he's right here, a large percentage of pundits are anti-Arsenal, and most fans fall into that trap term. So he agrees with you. So thank you for that. And then let's go on. Any other comments from the comments, and then we can go on to the next point in the schedule. Seben Zile said Chris Wheatley is the source for Kylian Mbappe saying that he thinks Arsenal will win the league. Thanks, Sesk or Seben Zile. I didn't know your first name until now. I've been friends with you for a while, and I didn't even know that was your first name. So you've been going by your alias. Any other thoughts on those comments? And then we can continue on the agenda. Okay, let's continue. So the next thing we're going to talk about is injuries. So we've got Havertz, who's been out with a knee injury, Saka with a hamstring, Saliba now with an ankle in that game, Norgard with a knock, and White with the knock. So I'm sure Norgard and White will come back soon. But at least we have a squad who can actually cover these injury woes. So would anyone just like to put up their hand and talk about injuries briefly, and then we can move on to the next topic, which will be Arsenal Player of the Month nominees. Anyone want to talk about injuries? So let's go to Alex, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'd actually want to pose, there's a question I saw on a certain podcast. I just can't remember which one it was, right? And the point that they were trying to make is that if you actually look at Arsenal's back four, and if you look at Arsenal's defense, right, we actually have a very good defense. So the question posed was that why don't we actually trust those players that actually defend for us, and then let all of our attacking players attack? So, for example, if you see the injuries with some of our attacking players like Saka, which is hamstring injuries, the point that they were trying to make is that some of these injuries could be from the players actually being sort of overworked, that they need to attack going forward, but then they also need to track back, and they need to press, and they need to defend. So I think that was an interesting point that was raised. But yeah, looking at the number of injuries, and we're only 3 games in, it actually is very concerning. But I'm actually glad that we actually have depth this time around. So we shouldn't feel it as much as previous seasons when we had thin squads. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting question that was raised.
No, that's a good point. I think that is a good point. I think also saw another thing from Scott Willis from Canon Stats, who said that Saka has got the highest minutes, is in the highest percentile of minutes for people his age. I posted it on the group, on the WhatsApp group, for when he was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I think he's 23 now, turning 24. So he's consistently in the highest percentile in terms of the amount of games that he's playing. So that's why, in that regard, firstly, having Wanyeri last season to help him, and now we've got Dayne and Madueke to help him. So I think we are going to see Saka play a little bit less just to conserve his energy for the later stages of the UCL and bigger games, and I think we'll see him less in smaller games. And then with regards to I think that the same goes with Martinelli. I think that is something that I know Mark on the group that we were talking with is he was saying that Martinelli is probably told by Arteta to stretch the pitch and make those runs down the left wing. So I think like we also don't know what these guys are being told by Arteta and why things have changed maybe for Martinelli. But I do know that I think that is a good point, though, that they are our wingers are asked to do a lot more than a lot of other wingers. Salah doesn't do as much tracking back as Saka does. So Saka's doing more work in the defensive component than a lot of the other big wingers that are in the like world-class category. So yeah, let's go on to the player of the month. Did they announce the winner yet? Does anyone know? Not yet. Can you just Google and check if they have? I think it's most likely going to be Calafiori because he was also nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month. So
Arsenal's one is Calafiori, and the Premier League Player of the Month is Haaland.
Haaland. Okay. Thanks, Tom. And would you like to speak a bit about Calafiori's play this month? What have you thought?
Yeah, sure. Won't take too long, hopefully, but I think it's just good to see him fit. That's probably the only thing I can really say. I think with what happened last season, he's got a unique profile. Calafiori is a bit of an odd player. He's built like a centre-back, but runs like at a speed that would suggest he's a lighter man. He attacks like he's a marauding old school wide forward, wide wing back, but defends really well at centre back as well. You know, during pre-season when Gabriel hadn't come back yet from his injury, I thought Calafiori looked like a really good left centre back. I'm glad to see Hincapié come from Leverkusen because I think that reduces the risk on Calafiori because he is kind of covering or was covering left back and centre back for us now that Kivior has gone to Porto. But I think he's a similar profile to Hincapié. He's just really, really dynamic. And I think he causes problems for our opposition who don't really know what you're in for. Sometimes he's inside playing a bit of a Zinchenko hybrid. Sometimes he runs on the outside. He goes forward. He can score goals like he did against City. Look, man, if we can keep Calafiori fit, we've got a really, really exciting player on our hands. It's just about that knee. That knee is made of marshmallow. And he needs to keep it. He needs to keep it structurally fine for this season. And if he can, look, Miles will have less minutes than he did last season if Calafiori stays fit. But that's fine and all part of playing a squad game. I'm really impressed with him.
I think going on to MLS, because I was a big MLS fan, I think I am a big MLS fan, is that, I mean, he even got a start for England after not playing that much for us. So I think he is going to have a lot of weight on him for England. And even though he might play like less games in Calafiori this season, if Calafiori's fitness can, or if how do you say Hincapié? How do you say it, Tim?
Hincapié, yeah.
Hincapié, yeah. That's so we need Ryan to teach. Ryan taught us how to say Jokeres the other time. Now we need someone who knows Spanish to teach us how to say Hincapié. Hey, say it again, Tim.
Hincapié. Yeah, I think that's about right, man.
Hincapié. Okay, cool. Anyway, so it's going to be very interesting. I think what's nice is that like we don't know what our starting lineup is going to be like before a game. That means the opposition also doesn't know, because most of the time in the last 3 seasons, we've kind of basically known 80% of the time who our starting lineup is going to be. So, yeah, it's very exciting. And then what's your thoughts, guys, on 4 defensive players being nominated for the Player of the Month? Do you think it's a concern, or do you think it's just a coincidence and it just happened to be games where you needed to defend more? Do you think it was a bit unfair that they didn't nominate Jokeres with his 2 goals against Leeds? Or do you think, I mean, why only have 4 nominees? Do you think 5 or 6 is better? What's your thoughts, guys? Alex, let's go to you. No, you just spoke. Ash, let's go to you.
To be honest, I don't have much to say about these nominations. I think it's early in the season. Um, I don't really concern myself with who's the best player. I think Fury has been very good for us. I'm a big fan. I always say he's like our next Maldini. When we signed him, he has that look. So obviously, as a big Maldini fan, I expect him to perform. Though I'm surprised, like Tom mentioned, the speed at which he plays down that left. Um, I think he brings a nice dimension to the team, and I'm happy with him at this stage. I can't think of a standout forward player thus far in the season, even though we did very well against Leeds. I expect that's for me. I like to say that's mandate when you're playing, a team that just came up. And I expect us to score a lot of goals. Yeah. So from a nomination perspective, I'm happy with Fury. I'm happy with Tamba. It made sense to me. And yeah, we'll just have to, maybe someone else can give their input on that.
Yeah, Timber's had a really good start to the season and an end to last season. So yeah, really happy with how well he did last season after coming back from an ACL. I think that was big performances from him. Langton, what are your thoughts on the player of the month so far, and then on Calafiori being nominated for the Premier League player of the month? Oh, I think we lost Langton. Oh, can you hear us, Langton?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. Sorry, I don't know what was happening. I couldn't hear anything now. Sorry about that, but I'm back now.
Did you hear my question?
No, I didn't hear anything.
No, I just said,
I didn't hear it.
What did you think about Calafiori being named the Arsenal Player of the Month, and that he was also nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month?
Oh, that one. No complaints on that one. I think he deserved it. I also thought for a defender, he will also get the EPL Player of the Month for a defender to play the way he played. But I heard one of the guests here saying they've given it to Haaland, who is a striker, but it is what it is. But now, just a question: who? Okay, we know that they gets nominated, but who votes for the EPL Player of the Month? Are they the fans, or who votes for the?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Does anyone know how it works?
Fan vote.
Fan vote. Okay, thanks, Tim. Which is unsurprising that they chose Haaland. Sorry, let me just.
I think because I think with the defenders and the goalkeepers, they always have a disadvantage when it comes to these individual awards. They always give them to the strikers, which is to me it's very unfair, to not only because it's Calafiori, but to all the defenders and the goalkeepers who deserve these awards. But at the end of the day, they don't get nothing. Like Ra played very well, brilliant last season, but the only recognition that he got from the EPL was at the end of the season, the Golden Glove, which is very unfair to the defenders and the goalkeepers.
Yeah, I think the ones that I thought were good shots from chats on the WhatsApp was Soboslai, Pedro, João Pedro, and then Semenyo, who had a really good game against Liverpool. Really good individual moments. So I think those were my shots, but I don't know why Haaland got it, because I mean City dropped points as well. I know it's not on him if they've dropped points, but that kind of leads into our next conversation point, which is our title rivals' first 3 games. So Liverpool, I think 9 out of 9 points, and then City 4 out of 9 points, and Chelsea, what did they drew with someone, and then they're on 7 points. Huh? Is that correct?
Yes, they're on 7 points. They drew with Crystal Palace at home.
Yes.
And then they won against West Ham, and then they won against Fulham at home.
Yeah. So interesting. They had 3 London derbies to start the season, which should be harder for London teams. But now half of the Premier League is in London, which also makes it harder for Arsenal. What's your thoughts on our title rivals? And do you think we'll come back to predictions later? But do you think that Chelsea are definitely a title rival, or do you think it's mainly City and Liverpool? You can go, Alex, while you're on camera.
Oh, thanks, Dayne. So I'd say that from looking at last season, right, one might be tempted to say that Chelsea might not be a title rival. But looking at the World Cup, Club World Cup win, and looking at the new pieces that they've added, I would like to say that they will be title rivals this season. If not, I would say that they'll be pushing for that top 4 place. But I think that the main rivals will actually be Liverpool and City. And from looking at Liverpool's game, the thing that worries me is that they've got 9 points. So they've got 9 points out of 9, of which it's not them playing at their best. And on top of that, they've just added Isak as well. So for me, that's pretty worrying that when all those pieces actually now gel together and they're playing well and they know all the new players know the system and they actually know all the tactics well, it's something that's worrying. I'd say one thing that I'm happy about is that they didn't manage to complete the transfer of Guehi on the deadline day. So it looks like defensively, there's still something lacking there in terms of the centre backs. So hopefully that's something that actually evens itself out. But yes, in terms of Liverpool, I'm actually quite worried because 9 points out of 9 when they're not playing their best. Moving on to City quickly, I think they've got 3 points, if I'm not mistaken. They only won their first game against Wolves and then against Spurs, which has become somewhat of a bogey team at home. They lost that. Then they also lost to another team, which is becoming a bogey team, which is Brighton. So I was quite happy with that. And I'm quite happy that they only have 3 points from the first 3 games. But I mean, it's City as well, and you can never write them off too early. So for me, I think it'll be a 3-horse race between Liverpool, Arsenal, and City. And it's going to be a very interesting one to watch.
I agree with you. I think that Chelsea aren't going to be able to sustain it maybe past January, February. I think they will be there, but I don't think they'll sustain it. I think it will be City and Liverpool and us that will sustain it till March and April and May. Because Chelsea had a lot of time to rest with the Conference League, they were able to play a second string team in the Conference League and then focus on the Premier League, and then they still dropped out in December, Jan. So I think that now they're in the Champions League, they're going to have to, even though they've got such a massive squad, stretch out. And so I don't see them. Let's see these other comments here. So Renai, who's also on the pod sometimes as a panelist, said Liverpool will not win the title. Liverpool have a similar dilemma as Madrid. What do you mean by as Madrid last season? What dilemma do you mean, Renai? Do you mind expanding in the comments? And then Pep Guardiola became ordinary once everyone has money to spend. I'm writing City off. Okay, so Renai is very confident. If you're writing City and Liverpool off, I'm guessing that we're winning the Premier League in your view. I think you did send on the group as we have a chat for the panelists, and I think we'll come to that later, everyone's views on who's going to win the Premier League. And then there's another comment here. So Gyökeres scored 4 goals recently. Arteta used to call the Sweden manager and find out the secrets of playing him. That's a good point. And mind you, Isak was playing and didn't score. So I want to go back to what you were saying, Alex, about Liverpool not getting Guehi. I think that was more important than them getting Isak. And I think that was a very good point that you made. I was very happy when they didn't get Guehi because Konate looked average in the first few games. against Palace, Bournemouth, and obviously he played well against us, as he would, Murphy's Law, when he looked average in the other games, but then plays well against us and then got injured. So yeah, Ash, what are your thoughts on our title rivals?
Yeah, I've got a similar view to Alex. Is it Alex? I look at Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea can sustain in the long run. They have depth. They've spent a lot of money. I don't think they're selling as well as we make it out to be. They have depth though. I think City. I'd like to ask the panelists when do we get the outcome for the 115 charges? What's happening there? I mean, City shouldn't be in the discussion, but knowing City right now, I'm even surprised with the 2 losses. I don't consider them challenges. I think there's something happening behind the scenes that's really impacting their ability to sustain a very good title challenge. But at the end of the day, it's City. They've been doing this for how many years now? We were surprised with their position last season. And then Liverpool, first 3 games, when I looked at their defense, I think there's a lot to be desired from a defensive aspect, even though we couldn't score against them. Liverpool, I think you asked us a question, and I was forced to choose Arsenal because of what I've seen in the first few games regarding who would win it. But I'm an Arsenal supporter, but I'm also a realist at times. And Liverpool is the bogey team for us right now. They're looking really good. It's just their defense. Salah hasn't started firing it, and we know once he starts firing, we're in big trouble. Most teams are in big trouble. They have a good player in Ekitike. I'm not convinced by Isak. Isak is a scary signing. I think he's the love child for the media, but he didn't make it into my fantasy league on many occasions, and that tells me enough about the player. But yeah, I think Liverpool will be our biggest rival. The other 2 will fall off. I'm hoping that we'll get a nice announcement there about points deduction of some sort for the City team. I don't even know how Haaland won the Player of the Month. From my perspective, I think Semenyo did brilliantly in the first 3 games of the season. Yeah. Can you hear me?
No, sorry. I was speaking, but my mic was on mute, so I was responding to what you said, and I was just saying that I think you hit the nail on the head. And then I just wanted to go to this next comment here from Renai. Getting the forward line to gel will be a mission. They have a solid front line. Salah has been average. It kind of echoes what you were saying. And Ekitike has been stealing the show with Isak on there. So my question is, does Ekitike play centre forward or Isak play centre forward? Because I know Isak can play left wing as well. Or will they platform Isak and then will Ekitike play left wing? What do you think is going to happen there? Guys, I don't know. I don't know. Ekitike.
Yeah, I don't think you sign anybody for 125 million pounds unless you intend to play them where they just broke goal scoring records for Newcastle. 23 league goals for Isak last season. Isak will play 9, and Ekitike, I feel for him a little bit because I think he could have been leading the line at Newcastle had dominoes fallen slightly differently for him. I don't think Walter Mada from Wolfsburg was the intention here. Ekitike was supposed to go to Newcastle. I don't think it matters with the tragic passing of Jota. At the end of the day, I don't think clubs look at, fans, we're still wedded to the idea of the sort of FIFA approach to football where it's like, who's your starting lineup? Because we all mentally think of this like the final game of the season, Champions League final, who would you start? Well, in all likelihood, you'll have 4 or 5 people injured anyway, and the team won't be whoever you put in your head. Ekitike will get loads of minutes, and that's how they break it down. Minutes, whether it will be left forward, whether it will be coming off the bench, whether it will be starting in games like Carabao and early European league games. He's gonna play a lot of games up front. I don't see a 6'5" person playing much at left wing and right wing. I see Liverpool people smoking a lot of copium, saying that he's going to be playing left wing with Isak up top. That's not happening. KTK is not playing left wing, guys. And if it happens, it's going to be rare. Gakpo's playing fantastic. But just a quick comment, because I got to jump soon on the rivals. I think City look terrible. And once you peel back a few of the players who are really, really fantastic, if Haaland gets injured, that team is in serious trouble. Marmoush is not leading that line to a title challenge or a Champions League final. So City, I think we've got less to worry about now than we did a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They're the weakest I've seen in ages. Liverpool had one of the worst XG performances kicking off their season. Salah doesn't look the same as he has in previous seasons. So I think they're not as strong as people are making out. I think what will happen with Liverpool is, do they get injuries in key areas? You mentioned Gay. If they lose a Van Dijk, like we've lost Saliba for a few weeks and we've lost Bukayo, they are in serious trouble, guys, and we wouldn't be. So this season almost feels like depth versus first 11. Their first 11 beats ours, but our depth beats theirs. And then for Chelsea, I think they're too much of a project. There are too many moving pieces. So early feedback, even though we're not leading the league, I think we've got the greatest chance of winning the Premier League than we have in ages. And I know that that's not the narrative that is popular right now, but that's certainly how I feel. And you win titles based on defenses, not on attacks, in my opinion. And we are by far the best defensive team. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that one.
No, that's good. I want to ask you a question. Have we not had the best defense in the last 3 seasons before this, or the last 2 seasons?
We have. I just think depth wasn't there. So when we had 22-23, it was the back injury to Saliba that ruined our defense. And Rob Holding, I mean, I guess what's happened since that proves how poor he was as an option. Like, he went to Crystal Palace, couldn't even get a game. And now I think he's in America, maybe. And then a season later, and last season, Gabriel ruins his hamstring. Kivior came in, I think did pretty well. But we're at a different level right now. MLS and Calafiori left back. Nkapie, Gabriel left centre back, right centre back Saliba and Mosquera, and then right back Ben White and Timber. That is, I've never seen that in my life. It's incredible. I think that will matter.
Oh, that's a good, Tim. That's a good place to let you sign out. Thank you for that truth bomb that you left us with. We will read your predictions later on. When in your absence, we'll read your predictions for who's going to win what and not. So thank you, Tim.
Cheers, Dayne. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, man.
Cheers, Tim.
Let's go to Langton next. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Okay. Thanks. I don't think I'm counting City among the teams to go all the way and win the EPL. I mean, City, this City team with this game that they've played, they remind me of that Man City when they had, that was the Benjamin Mwaruwaru, all those guys that used to play for City, the City that no one was scared to play against. So I think City are not favorites for the EPL. But I think Liverpool, as defending champions and the signing that they had, I think they are the favorites to go all the way. And as of Chelsea, they did sign 1 or 2 players, yes, but the reinforcement, if you look at their bench, I looked at their bench, I can't remember which game they were playing. If they get the injury to the players that their first 11 players, I think they might have a problem. And then with us, look at our bench and our position. We have 2 or 3 players who can play those positions. So I think we will go toe-to-toe with Liverpool all the way like we did last season. And it's up to us to make sure. Unfortunately, we have lost to Liverpool. We haven't lost to big teams for a long time, but we've lost to them. But I still think we'll go toe-to-toe with Liverpool for the EPL title.
That's good, bro. I'm just reading the comments from...
Yeah, sorry, man.
Sorry,
with that Crystal
sorry.
Palace defender that they get. Oh, sorry, man. Okay.
I just want to read the comment from Renai. He's talking smack at Liverpool on the comments here. He's saying Liverpool defense is convincing. They're conceding in all games except for us and the goals. They're conceding all the way from the Community Shields. It raises alarm bells. So I think it actually suits us to be the second favourites or the third favourites because City have this pedigree of winning, I think it was 4 in a row from 2020. And then Liverpool have won 2 of the last 6. So it actually suits us to be the third favourites and for the pressure to be less honest. But somehow the media is putting all this pressure on Arteta and saying that, he hasn't won trophies. And obviously winning takes pressure off you in the past. But it's interesting how the media narrative, and we've spoken about this before on the pod today and on other pods. So... yeah, let's kind of. Any other thoughts there from you, Ash, and then we can go on. Okay.
We're not media darlings, so we don't expect to be the favorites. I enjoy not being the favorite. As a Gunner supporter, it's nice to be the underdog. The underdog story sits well with me, so they need to write us off. Yeah, Arsenal's not going to make it. We've never been favourites. I think, which season was it where we ended second the first time? I didn't even expect us to end up in the top 4 that season. So we now, I think this season would be our best chance of winning it, looking at what's happening around us. But I still prefer the underdog story because when we win it, let me tell you, I am going to be as obnoxious as ever. It's been years. I will be so arrogant.
Me too. I told my friends that are non-Arsenal friends, I said, if we win the Champions League, I am hiring a party bus and I'm driving past your house. And I will blow vuvuzelas by your house when Arsenal win the Champions League. We will become, we're a fan base that are going to become ungovernable overnight.
Yeah. No.
Yes, Alex, go for it.
Oh, thanks, Dayne. I actually do agree with you, right, that it suits us better to be second favorites for the league. The only interesting thing and what I'll be looking at, right, for us to win the league, we are then going to have to be first and top of the league at some point. What would be interesting to see this season if mentality-wise, we can get past the hurdles of the previous seasons and actually do away with that title that I hate of being chokers. But it would be interesting to see if mentality-wise we can then remain first from that point where we're actually top of the league, and if we've actually grown. If we've actually grown from a mental perspective, because I think in the previous seasons where we were first and we had people chasing us down, the pressure got to us a few of those seasons, and then we ended up finishing second. So it will be something interesting for me to see this season.
Alex, my question to you is: do you think we choked all of the last few seasons? I think we only choked in 22, 23. We were 10 points ahead at one stage. And then I think we choked in 21, 22 when we were 5 points ahead of Spurs, and then they caught up to us. So I would say those are the 2 seasons we did choke. And I think 23, 24, we were right there with City. We got 18 wins out of our last 19 games. That's not choking. That's
true.
I think it's something. It's one of my bugbears on the WhatsApp group and on the Facebook group when people say we're bottlers. I say yes, we have bottled in the past, but I say Spurs are the ultimate bottlers. I mean, what they did in the Super Cup and what they've done in other tournaments and in other games, and like, yeah. So I would say Spurs are like like they are like the level of like. You look up bottling in the dictionary. There's a picture of Tottenham Hotspurs, and then all of the other big teams, other than maybe City and because Liverpool have also bottled badly. When I think it was 2013, 2014 when Suarez was around. They bottled, and then it was Gerrard, the slip from Gerrard. I think they had like they were 5 points ahead after like 33 games or something like that, or 34 games. So yeah, Ash, do you want to speak on the bottling thing?
Yeah, I also don't agree that Arsenal is really the bottlers. If you look at statistics, yes, in recent history, it's that season where we started. I think we were losing to West Ham. We were like at 10 points ahead, and then I can't use the word I'd like to use, but we choked, and it was disappointing. I'll never forget that moment. But the season where City won it and we ended second, Liverpool was also in that title chase. And I think it's just another, and Tim is right, the media's narrative that they're trying to create around Arsenal. It impacts us. Uh, it's not that we're really bottlers. Yes, we have a manager that's still learning. He's learning on the job, but we had no depth at that stage. I think last season proved it, and I'm happy we've done the business we've done this season. So we're not favorites, but I expect us to go all the way this season. I really do. I've seen us going all the way once, and I've seen us bottle it with the Exodus team as well a few times back in the day when I was still in high school. So I'm just hoping for a good one this season. Let's not allow the media and the toxic fan bases to the banter to get to us. We need to support this team 100%. Let's forget about the past and be a bit more brave this season.
So we've got another comment here. Let's get your answer live, Ash. We have to win something as a current squad because these guys will probably want to leave after the season, especially Saliba, Saka, etc. For me, it's a must that we win the league or the UCL. What's your thoughts on that?
No one is entitled to winning the league. I mean, this is the toughest league in the world from a football perspective. Arsenal's never won the UCL in its prestigious history, so no one is entitled to win it. I do want a trophy. I've said it before. Last season, before the show started, Dayne did mention I wanted Arteta out. Obviously, you make decisions when you're emotional, but I don't think not winning the league or not winning the Champions League would be to the detriment of the manager. I think if players want to leave the project for better projects because they don't believe that we can win it, that's their own choice. But yeah, sorry, I just lost my train of thought there, Dayne.
No worries. No, I think that it's good what you shared, and let's just go. I think there's another comment. Renai has commented. Let's get Langton's response to this comment. We have been bottling. I know it's not a nice thing, but we have bottled. We dropped the points, which in paper seem like a done deal. So, Renai, are you saying that bottling is more a game-by-game narrative? But I still disagree. I think that bottling is the definition of bottling is when you are winning and then you lose. So I think the only one that I can remember was the Aston Villa game from last season that we did bottle because we were winning 2-0 and then we drew 2-2. Are there any other thoughts that you have on bottling, Langton?
Can I come in there? Yes. I think from my own side, sadly, that boxing tech belongs to us. I think these other teams, like you spoke about Liverpool when Gerrard fell, and which other team did Buckley? But the thing is, with these other teams, they box and then they end up winning something at that season or the season after. But for us, we have boxed once, twice, or even that. I think there is when Leicester ended up winning the league. That's the most painful EPL season for me. That was ours, but we ended up giving it to Leicester. Since from there, I mean, the other teams book and then they end up winning cups on the season after or 2 seasons after. But for us, we don't win anything. So I think certainly that tech belongs to us now until we win something. Yeah, that's my thinking on that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
What title or what trophy would be the bare minimum this season for Arsenal Football Club?
I think that's a good question. I would say from my side, I would say one domestic cup is a bare minimum. So I think that we aren't going to win a domestic cup. I think we're actually going to win the Champions League. I know that's a big call. I just see us. I think the Premier League we face more mid blocks and low blocks, and in the Champions League you're going to face more high lines and less mid blocks. Only against, and I know ironically we're playing some of the teams who do play more defensively in Atletico and Inter. So we're going to have tough games and that leads us on to the next point, which is the Champions League draw. That Atletico is going to be, I think, our toughest game in the group phase, and then Inter after that. And I think we're actually going to beat Bayern because I think we're playing them at home. Just wanted to check here. We're playing Bayern at home. So I think we're going to win against Bayern and put that kind of behind us. And then we've got, so let's just go through the fixtures. We've got Athletic Club away. That's this week coming. Next week coming. Then we've got Arsenal versus Olympiacos. Arsenal at home. Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid. At least we're at home against Atletico. But they're going to be very defensive against us. They're going to come and play for a draw or for a smash and grab win. Then Slavia Prague away. So at least that's not too far of a travel. Then we've got Bayern at home. Then we've got Club Brugge, which have been playing well lately in the last few seasons of the Champions League. We're away at them, but also not a far travel. Then we've got Inter, another closer travel. And then we've got the Kazakhstani team, and they are coming to us. So we don't have to travel all the way and fly all the way to Kazakhstan, which is a massive, massive travel. So, I think I haven't answered your question.
Sorry, where are we playing Inter?
We're playing Inter at Inter.
Oh, we're traveling there like last season. Okay.
Yeah.
Tough one, that one. Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of tough games in this for the UCL. What's it? The group stage. It's not group stage anymore. It's like part of the league setup, right? That they're having. But there's a lot of tough games. I mean, Athletic Club, if I'm not mistaken, is either top or top 3 in La Liga currently. I know it's early days, but they're doing pretty well. I mean, looking at a team like Olympiacos, which is a team that's knocked us out of Europa, if I'm not mistaken. They there, and then we have Bayern, Atletico Madrid. Those are all tough teams. It's not going to be an easy run, but I think we're up for the challenge. The challenge is the most exciting part this season. We need to be up for the challenge, and we don't need to end in the top 4 or the top 5 of that league thing. As long as we end up in the top 8, so that we don't have that extra game as well.
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. Sorry, I'm just quickly sorting this out. I just want to go to this comment here from Super Siso. We're in a great position to compete and win the Premier League's depth-wise. In fact, we lost Saliba at Anfield and didn't miss him. Puts me at ease. Even Madueke is covering Bukayo just fine so far. Very good comment. And I think It's a fair point. And then the next comment here from Kanyezi. He said 21-22, but I think he means 22-23. We were 93% on the league. We were on top of the league 90% of the season, and we lost to City, bottled it to City. So we definitely bottled that season. I agree with you. And then Renai is talking more about bottling. It's failing to win when you are already in an advantageous position. We have been in those positions and we let go. I think that's fine in some games, Renai, but I think, as I said, it was more the Aston Villa game, and I don't think there was a lot of games that we actually. There actually was quite a few games last season. We did drop a lead in quite a few games, so we bottled individual games last season, but I don't think we bottled the league. Like I think there's two kind of bottling. There's bottling games, and then there's bottling a league position. I don't know if you guys will have any thoughts on that. Alex, you were nodding your head. So, what's your thoughts on bottling games versus bottling the league?
Yeah, so I'd say that there's definitely individual games that we bottled, right? But from my point of view, it's kind of linked, because if you then bottle those individual games and each game, perhaps it's 3 points dropped or 2 points dropped, but when they add up and you see the final tally that we fall short by, I think that's how bottling the individual games leads then to people sort of concluding that we bottled the league and the season as a whole. Because let's say if there's maybe 3 to 5 games where on paper we're supposed to win, and I know that there's no such game where you've got a right to win it and it's an automatic 3 points. But if you look at 3 games, for example, that you're supposed to win, then you end up losing them. That's already 9 points dropped. And if it's 3 to 15 where you either lose or you end up drawing, and you add up those points tally and you see how much we're short by, I think that's what leads people to say that we've actually then bottled the league.
Okay, that's fair enough. I just wanted to go to this comment by Herman. Atletico definitely our toughest opponent in the Champions League at home. Simeone also favors defensive play style and tactics. I agree 100%. And then Renai is making more comments on the concept of us being favorites, which I like. I think we've been heartbroken so much that we're even scared of calling ourselves favorites, but on paper, there isn't anything that suggests we aren't favorites. So I agree with you, and I think that I agree that I still put us as second favorites because Liverpool won the league last year and spent 430 million this season. And we haven't won the league in 21 years, and we haven't. I know we've been more consistent than Liverpool over the last 3 seasons, so that does put us in a better space. But they've won the league 2 times in the last 6 seasons where we haven't. So they've got more experience at winning the league, and I think that's why they are favorites. So I hear what you're saying, Renai, but I don't agree that we are favorites. And then Sposiso said last season we dropped so many points from winning positions, and that was a big frustration. Renai still thinks we bottled the league, so I just want to show his thoughts here. But in those games, they add up into bottling the league. I think it's maybe it's semantics or it's disagreeing on definitions, but I don't think we bottled the league last season. We had 34 injuries. We had almost double the amount of injuries as Liverpool did. So I think, for me, that's the context that we couldn't have bottled the league last season because we didn't have enough players available to compete. Let's kind of go on. Any other final thoughts on the Champions League? Has anyone heard of this Kazakhstan team? And anyone else that you're worried about other than Inter and Athletic? And what's your thoughts on Bayern? No one's mentioned Bayern.
So from my point of view, I think we need to win against Bayern and actually get revenge for some of those 5-1s. But I think the standout games would be Atletico Madrid, Bayern as well, and also Inter. And of all the games, I'd say I expect us to finish off with maybe 17 to 18 points out of the possible 24. And from looking at last season, I don't think at times there's an advantage to finishing top because I think Liverpool finished top and they ended up getting, I think, PSG, if I'm not mistaken. So as long as we finish in the top 8, like the previous speaker said, then we should be good. But definitely looking forward to that Bayern game for some revenge.
Sorry, Alex, just to say that they've changed the rules for the Champions League. If you finish in the top 4 positions, you get a home quarterfinal and semi-final if you finished in the top 8 or the top 4. So I don't know if I'm making sense, but basically they are giving more weight to the league position than they did last season, where we had come third, but we had an away game against PSG last. You should have an away game.
Okay.
You should have an away game first and a home game last.
Last year. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Played with PSG, so PSG actually got a psychological battle over us, even though they finished so poorly in the league phase.
Okay, great stuff then. Great stuff. It's actually good that there's more of an advantage then, I would say. So that's great news. Yes, you can go ahead.
No, it was just I think it's did we complain about that change? Or because I remember they said next season Champions League will change, giving advantage, sort of like an advantage to a team that finishes on top 4. Did Arsenal complain or something? Because they say it was Arsenal who.
I hope so. We must burn things. We must protest. We must toy everything just to get what we do. We are angry. We are tired of being 21 years without a league and never winning the Champions League. So we want glory.
But now talking about Bayern, we need to avenge those 5-1 whatever. I would have loved to play Bayern in the knockout stages, because now you might beat them and then they end up not getting knocked out. I mean, UEFA's changed all this, but I would have loved to play Bayern. Those guys embarrass us a lot. I would have loved to play them in the knockout stages. Yeah, with this current team that we have.
Too much pain. Yeah, so but I think those days are over, guys. I think we're the ones that are going to be causing pain going forward. So let's just look forward to the rest of the Champions League. Now we can go back to the league. Let's look at outgoings. I don't know if you saw my post that we only in total made incomings of 10.3 million. This is according to Transfer Market. Hein left on a loan. Tavares 5 million in. Marquinhos 3 million into the bank. Kivior 2 million loan fee with an obligation to buy. Question mark. Anyone know about Kivior and the obligation or non-obligation to buy? I think it's actually one that can be triggered by Porto or us, if I remember correctly, with Kivior. I can't remember now, but I think can someone correct us in the comments? And then there's Vieira who went on loan, Zinchenko who went on loan, Nelson on loan. Nelson loves a loan. We need to sell Nelson. When are we ever going to sell this guy? He loves going on loan. What are your thoughts on the outgoings? At least we got some players out on loan, because it looked like we weren't even going to get players out on loan. So, but it is a rather embarrassing amount of money that we brought in.
Just to chime in about Kivior, I just Googled quickly, and they say he's completed a move to Porto, joining on a loan with the obligation for the Portuguese side to make the deal permanent at the end of the season.
Oh, obligation. Okay, cool.
Then they'll pay an initial 2 million euro and 17 million next year, and potentially 5 million euro in add-ons.
Oh, I think it was Hincapie who was the Leverkusen or us could trigger the obligation to buy. It was a double, and it means that Hincapie will be on next year's books and not on this year's books. That's why we did a loan.
Yeah.
With
then finally, we'll also earn €2 million from any 2 million euros from any future sale, bringing the total package to 26 million euro.
Oh, okay. So thanks, Alex, for doing a fact check there. Ash, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So yes, the amount of money that's coming in from the outgoings might look on paper like an insignificant amount. We're talking about 10.3 million euros. But the savings, even from the loan perspective, the likes of Zinchenko, Nelson, all these players, Vieira, them leaving. I think we're saving annually about 21 million euros in total, which, yes, it's disappointing we couldn't make it permanent and we couldn't get that money in instantly. But from a wage perspective, from a cash flow perspective, when you start speaking those financial terms, I think it's a good. We've done well to get them out. They're players that sit on the periphery. The likes of Nelson, I don't see space for anymore. Zani, I have a soft spot for, but on the salary and the wage perspective, I think he earns what Martinelli earns currently, right? If
No,
not
he earns
more.
150. He earns £150,000 a month, and Martinelli's on 180.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I'm actually surprised because Zinchenko came in from City. He's sorry, I was just reading. He came in from City, so I was expecting for him to be on a much larger wage. Either way, having them out, saving about 21 million, that's what was reported, I think, on
No,
one
that's
of
a
our
good-
groups. I think
that's
it's
a
a good saving. And with obligation to buy, I think Kivio, I wanted a bit more for him. I guess once the obligation kicks in, he's a good player. He's a decent defender, a decent centre back. He really showed us he's got value towards the end of last season. But seeing that it's a World Cup year this year, you'd want to have as much game time as possible. And I think he pushed for the deal. If I'm not mistaken, which club did he go to?
Porto.
It was a Portuguese club, so it's Porto, right?
Yeah.
He went to Porto. He pushed for that deal. I guess they've really sold him a nice project over there, and they probably guaranteed him a lot of game time. So I expected the money to come in, but not everyone has the funding required to make these deals happen. So an obligation is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it is disappointing. I wanted at least 35 million euros to 40 million euros for Kivio. I think he was at that level of quality, and to get, what is the total, Alex, of those amounts that you gave us? What would you say the total is that we would be getting in?
The total is 26 million euro.
Oh,
That's with the sell-on as well, of 2 million.
no, it's got a sell-on clause of how much?
Of 2 million euro.
Sorry, guys.
So now-
was Kivio sold or he's on loan?
So he's on loan, but there's an obligation to buy.
He's on loan, but they also had a loan fee. There was a loan fee of 2 million.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a 2 million loan fee, 17 million next year, then potentially 5 million in add-ons.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we charge a 40% sell-on clause, because he's probably going to get a big move after Porto. He'll probably be sold for 40 to 50 to 60 million after. Yeah. Let's quickly talk about Man United. We don't talk about them much on this podcast, but other than this is a good point.
That's not our rivals. That's not our rivals. Eh?
It's not our rivals. We don't give them airtime. Man United.
That's relegation spec.
Only when we played Man United did we talk about them, but we don't really talk about them as rivals anymore. But I like what Renai said. He's not happy that Onana is leaving, and I don't even know what face that is. I can't see clearly, but it looks like a monster face. And then he's got another comment here about we tend to freeze the players we deem outcasts at a significant weight in bringing their selling price lower. We need to find a way to give them a run either on League Cup or subs appearances. I agree. I think the Ramsdale one was a concerning one. And I know that we're under pressure, so we kind of hamstring ourselves because we want to win the league. So we got to play our best players, but then it means that we aren't going to have them having the peripheral players aren't going to be getting enough game time to raise their value so that they can be sold for higher value. So it is like a conundrum. It's like a catch-22 that we're in almost. Yeah, so thank you, Nkanyezi. Thank you for saying that you enjoyed the live. We really enjoyed having you. Thanks for commenting. Let's continue with incomings. We had obviously talked about a lot of the incomings as the season went. We've got Zubamendi for these figures are total figures, and they're from Ornstein. Zubamendi for 65 million euros, Eze for 78 million euros, Gyökeres 73.5 million euros, Madueke 60 million euros, Mosquera 19 million euros, Norgard 14 million euros, Kepa 5.7 million euros, and Hincapie on loan. I just want to comment on Mosquera. I don't know how we got this guy for 19 million. Like
It's a steal.
He is so good.
Mm. Yeah.
And he played like one of the most amount of minutes for an under 21 player in Europe last season.
Yeah, no, he's really exciting. I mean, had it been Arsenal, I mean, when we looked at the Arsenal Liverpool, I think it was Saliba that went down. We would have had a meltdown. And the boy came in and he did
Saliba goes
amazing
down,
work.
down in the fans.
It's like we didn't miss a beat. He walked in there and he bossed it for me. I enjoyed watching him. I enjoyed watching him in preseason when he arrived, the little bit that we did watch, obviously. And yeah, it's a steal at 19 million euros. I don't know how much is that in pounds. I don't know why they like to report it in euros. Maybe to make it look more like a larger fee. I mean, that's probably like 16 million pounds. And yeah, it's impressive to see guys, is this the Arsenal? I mean, we've all been supporting Arsenal for a long time, and you're looking at the amount of money spent this window, the quality we brought in. It's really exciting. Sorry to just jump in there.
No.
Yeah.
Berta has changed our lives, bro. Berta is the best signing that we had before the window, and then he changed our lives. We all call him Don Berta, I call him Don Berta. So
I mean, I can recall a window where we signed, I think, Peter Cech. That was the only signing we had.
Check.
It was a free signing, or was it I can't recall, but that's where we're coming from. we suffered. Window after window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, Langton.
No, I'm thinking. I'm saying. I think if we had had to, we couldn't have made all the signings that we did. It's very true, Dayne. Our first major signing was better. We signed a very, very good guy there. Yeah. And spoke about menu and we jumped, and they say it's a bad day for English football. Onana is going to Turkey. And they signed. I think it's a panic buy for Manchester United. They signed a goalkeeper from Belgium. I think one of the teams in Belgium. And the Man U fans were saying this season we're gonna be relegated. When they're showing the clips of the guy that they signed. I mean, the guy if he's to be judged by those performances, the guy is the most useless goalkeeper that I've ever seen in my entire life. And the Man U. Yeah, I think I'll be, because as much as we are winning, we might not win anything, but for Man U, I hate Man U. I think I'll be celebrating week in, week out with that goalkeeper.
We must fast and pray, guys. We must fast and pray that Man United go down. That'll change my life.
For this one, for Man U, with this team, I don't need to fast. I'll have to make sure that they put in my feet. I'll eat. They'll keep losing. No need to fast for that one. With the team that you're having, serious, no need to fast.
They'll go down fast. Never mind us fasting.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. So, any other thoughts on the incomings, especially Hincapie? The signing, he looks amazing. And did you see he can only speak Spanish? So at least we got a Spanish manager. And I think now we've lost Carlos Cuesta, but Gabriel Heinz, he can also speak Spanish. So we've got two coaches that can speak Spanish, and his English wasn't terrible, but he's obviously not confident yet. What's your thoughts, Alex, on Hincapie?
Oh yeah, thanks, Dane. So I'll be honest, and I've not seen that much of him. I've just seen a few clips online, but from what I've seen, he actually does look impressive. And then just looking at the window overall, I'd say this has to be the best window that I've actually seen as an Arsenal fan. I mean, I started supporting Arsenal around about 2001 in high school, and I'd say it's definitely the best window that I've seen. Out of 10, I'll probably rate it a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10, because there wasn't much lacking. And I'll say that Berta just changed our lives completely. And if this is his first transfer window, I can't wait to see what the future holds for Don Berta.
Yeah, no, I agree. I gave him a 10 for sales and a 6, sorry, 6 for sales and a 10 for incoming. So like an 8 as a average. Yeah, let's go on. I see the time is marching on and we need to get to predictions. So let's go through our next 3 matches. We've got Arsenal versus Forest on Saturday the 13th at 1:30. So a nice earlier game so we can not drive at night, Langton. And then we've got Athletic Club in the Champions League on Tuesday the 16th at 6:45. So we've got an earlier game in the Champions League as well. And then we've got Arsenal versus City, just a casual Arsenal versus City game, but at least it's at home. So I think we must chow them while they are looking vulnerable. So how much points are we expecting in the next 2 league games for EPL, and then how much are we expecting versus Athletic? I'm really thinking we'll get 3 wins out of the next 3 games. What's your guys' thoughts?
Yeah.
I'm also going with 3 out of 3 on those ones. Definitely, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, bro. And yourself, Alex?
Yeah, so from my point of view, I think we also need 3 out of 3. Looking at the next game, which is Forest, I'd say it's one that we need to be cautious of, with Forest coming off that shock 3-0 loss at home to West Ham. So they'll be looking to bounce back against us, at least get a draw. But however, since we're at home, I expect us to get those 3 points. And then looking at the first Champions League game, which is Athletic Bilbao away, I also expect us to get the 3 points there, because looking at our away record last season in the league and also in the Champions League, it was also quite good. And finally, against City, I think we need to make a statement win against the traditional top 6 club, and especially us being at home, with also City not being the same City of 2-3 seasons back. I fully expect us to actually win that game as well. So I do agree with you guys as well, that I expect 3 wins out of 3 in the next 3 games.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just read a comment, but then I was listening to you. I'll come to the comment in Kanyezi. I think I have a feeling Peppers might go quite defensive in that game against us. I think the 5-1 maybe scared him. And with them not playing so well lately, I have a feeling that Pep might low block us or mid block us, because he knows that mid block is Arteta's nemesis. So I think we're not going to smack them, but I think it's going to be a tight game. I think we'll probably win 3-1. That's my prediction for the City game. And I think Athletic will probably win just 2-0. We beat them 3-0 preseason. Is that correct? If I remember correctly, we beat them 3-0. And then Forest is going to be a tough game. I think that'll be like a 2-1 win. And I'm sad that Bukayo's not around, because he loves a goal against Forest. So it'll be sad missing him. What's your thoughts, Ash, on the next 3 games?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you guys. With Forest, I believe we're gonna have So I have Forest players in my fantasy league, and I'm thinking about removing and playing the wild card early, because they're not performing that well. I expect us to go there, and or is it at home or is it away against Forest?
It's home.
No, we should get a 2-0 there. I'm happy with a 2-0. Athletic Bilbao is playing really well in La Liga, like I mentioned earlier. but I expect us to take a win there. City, I'm surprised. The confidence, it's City, guys. At the end of the day, yes, they don't have a De Bruyne there, but at the end of the day, it's still City. But I would like a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win because I'm not sure if we can just keep them out. Yeah, it's still City, guys.
Yep. And then we've got Renai who's talking more smack in the comments here. We need a straight 10 wins to set the pace. I love Renai's confidence that he has.
Positivity there. Yeah.
So thanks, Renai. We love your energy today. You're talking smack on Liverpool and you're bigging us up. So we love it. We love your confidence.
Just a quick one. There's a rumor I saw that Saliba might be back for the City game. But I think even if he's not in, Mosquera proved that he can actually stand in quite well. So either way, we should be good.
I think this is an interesting comment from Renai. Losing versus Liverpool might be a blessing in disguise as we no longer have to play to maintain the winning streak versus the tops or the not losing streak. So I think you're right. I think we might take more risks. But I think we just do better against the top 6 teams because they play a high line. I mean, in general, Man United has now started to play a low block against us because they see that they're losing so much and they still lost even when they did play a low block against us. So I think the big 6 teams are stressing when they see Liverpool. I mean, when they see Arsenal on the fixture list, like we used to stress about City and Liverpool and Chelsea in the past. So we are now other people's stress, which is very good. And then I just wanted to go to this comment here. I did put the venues that we are able to watch at, and there's a watch along at Four Ways. There's a watch along at Four Ways Hooters, and then there's. So let me just hide this because it'll pop up now. Four Ways Hooters and Umhlanga Hooters in Durban. So please do join us there. And then I think time is running out. Let's get on to predictions. So I'll let Alex start. And I think you have your predictions in front of you. What are your predictions for the big 4 trophies available for English teams? You will win the Champions League, and where do you see the top 8 placing, and where do you see the bottom 3 placing?
Okay, thanks, Dayne. So due to time, I'll just breeze through them quickly. But Champions League, I've got Madrid. I think their team would actually gel well this season with Mbappe and also with the new coach. EPL, my heart as an Arsenal fan says Arsenal. My head says Liverpool because of Isak, but I hope my heart is actually right and Arsenal wins the league. FA Cup, I've got Chelsea. They've proven that they can win cup finals. League Cup, I've got Liverpool because I think they will win something. Then looking at the EPL positions quickly, Arsenal number 1, Liverpool 2nd, Man City 3rd, Chelsea 4th, Aston Villa 5th, Forest 6th, Newcastle 7th, and Spurs number 8. Then bottom 3, I've got Wolves, Leeds, and Burnley.
No, that's a good shot. I think Forest have recruited quite well, and I'm actually pretty stressed about the Forest game compared to the City and the Bilbao, the Athletic game. I think that Forest will probably be our toughest game. That's why I said we'd only win 2-1 and would win 2-0 and 3-1 in the other games. So good shots there. Thanks for sharing. And what makes you think Madrid are going to win the Champions League? Do you think it's their pedigree, or do you think there's something else?
Yeah, so I'll say their pedigree, and I think Mbappe will have settled in much better. I also think the new coach would also have enough time there to just get his tactics through the team. So I think all those things gelling together, I think they'll probably take it.
Yeah, a good shot. Ash, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Obviously, I did my predictions last night, and then I was trying to be a bit different. So, anyways, EPL, Arsenal, Champions League. I said Bayern Munich, which I have a soft spot for, guys. With all due respect, I've liked that club for many years, since Olich, since before Olich as well. I was gonna say Madrid because of the pedigree, but yeah, FA Cup. I said Arsenal again. I would have loved to say Arsenal for all of them, and then the League Cup. I actually enjoy watching Everton this season, which is weird for me. I'm enjoying watching Grealish at Everton, and they're just doing something for me, especially because they were so poor in the last 2 seasons. It's a nice start for them in the season. Then my top 8, I had Arsenal at the top, obviously Liverpool, Chelsea, and City. Top 4, Crystal Palace at 5th, Spurs at 6th, Everton at 7th, and Villa at 8th. Villa's very poor this season so far. Nice surprise. I guessed in the Facebook group, the Unai Emery support base that's still there is feeling some chest pains, if I can put it to you like that. And then my bottom 3, I had Burnley, Wolves, and Leeds. Yeah, I was just having fun with it, time.
That's good, bro. Thanks for sharing.
All right.
And yourself, Langton?
Thanks, Dayne. Can you just help me here? I think I did my predictions last night and sent them to you, but I can't see where I'd written them. Can you just help me with that? Then I'll just add one or two.
Yeah, I think you sent it to me on our personal chat.
Yes, yeah. I think I sent it to you there. Can you just help me with those? Sorry, man.
So you had Liverpool winning the EPL. You had Arsenal 2nd, Chelsea 3rd, Tottenham 4th, Man City 5th. Interesting. Nottingham Forest 6th, Everton 7th, and Crystal Palace 8th. Interesting. And then Burnley, Fulham, and Leeds going down. You said UCL, like me, Arsenal would win. And then you said FA Cup, Liverpool, and Chelsea winning the League Cup.
Yeah, obviously, I would have loved to say Arsenal in everything, but I know it could be, I'll just be telling myself lies there. But with the EPL, I went with Liverpool. I think it's just a way to, that will help console myself come end of the season if you don't get it. But deep down my heart, I said Liverpool, but deep down my heart, I wish Arsenal can win it. But if we don't, maybe I'll console myself by saying I thought Liverpool will take it. But with the Champions League, for this season, I seriously think with the signing that we had, it might be our year. That's my thinking. It might be our year. But last year, we nearly got there, which I thought we will finally end that. We finally win last season, but we didn't do. But this year, I'm confident we'll get that. But also in England, we'll get something. If not the league, the FA Cup. That's for sure. And then with the teams that will be relegated, I think those teams that I mentioned there, I definitely think maybe I might be wrong with one, but 2 of them, I think they'll go down.
Okay, no, that's a good shot. I think I said Liverpool would win the league again. I said Arsenal would come 2nd, City 3rd, Chelsea 4th. I think I said Newcastle would come 5th. I think I said Spurs would come 6th. I think I had Aston Villa before, but they've started badly and they haven't signed anyone, so they're not looking great. And then I think I said Forest would come 7th, and then I think 8 I said Man United, because they don't have any. I know it's weird, but they don't have any other competition to distract them. They literally just have the league. So I think they're going to fire Amarim and get a better coach in, and then they're going to have a resurgence. So that's my view on Man United. But yeah, maybe you can lambaste me. I see Ash was not happy. What do you think about my prediction? And then I think that Arsenal are going to win the UCL. I think City will win the FA Cup, and I think Chelsea will win the League Cup. Yeah. So what's your thoughts, Ash?
And I'm not convinced by United. You know, we in South Africa we have a lot of United fans around us. Very arrogant group of people. They talk a lot, yes. Um, when you look at it, something's wrong at that club. Like seriously, something is seriously wrong. They've spent a lot of money over the many years. They just can't seem to get it right. The manager's not getting supported. It starts at the top, eh? We used to want to protest. We watched protests at the Emirates with the Kronkers, but I think it's these guys, the Glazers, have really done something. This is one of the teams that did really well under Sir Alex, and it's been downhill ever since. They're not even getting top 8, Dayne, unfortunately. That's the only issue I had with that prediction. They're not getting top 8. That's a team that's under Sunderland at this stage for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the little bit of bitterness that we have towards them. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I just want to read some of the other predictions from other people, other panelists that we've had on the past. I think Renai sent his through. Oh, Tim, let's read Tim. So Tim thinks we'll win the league. He thinks Barcelona will win the Champions League, which is also, I think Barcelona were my second. Barcelona and PSG were my other shots for the Champions League because PSG don't have they don't have to put a lot of energy to win their league, and they can put most of their energy to winning the Champions League. So I think those are the two teams that I'm most worried about in the Champions League is Barcelona and PSG. So if we can avoid them or catch them when they've got injuries or something like that, then I think we can win the Champions League. I think with the Champions League, there's luck involved. And I mean, if you look at PSG, they were terrible in the group phase. Then they did get lucky. They did play well, but then they kind of caught us when we had a lot of injuries because we beat them in the group phase. So I don't know. I think I just have a feeling it's our time for luck to kind of shine our way and to go our way and shine on us and go our way. And I have a feeling we're going to win the UCL. But let's go back to Tim. He said he doesn't have any idea who's going to win the FA Cup and League Cup. And his predictions is Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Brighton. Good call for Brighton. And then Spurs at 6th, Newcastle and Man United. So he also said Man United. Then he said Wolves, Leeds and Burnley to go down. My ones to go down was, I think Brentford might go down. They've lost Wissa, they've lost Mbuemo and Frank. And there was someone else that they lost as well. Norgard. So I just see Brentford maybe going down because they've lost so many key players and they haven't really replaced them. And then I said Burnley, and I said I think Sunderland are going to stay up. I think they've bought well.
Mm-hmm.
And I said Wolves. Yeah, I said Wolves, Brentford, and Burnley to go down. So, yeah, just piggybacking off Timbers. I forgot to mention that. And then I think Ryan said Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and City for the top 4. He doesn't have a clue for the rest. And then Renai said Arsenal will win the league, and then Real Madrid will win the Champions League, and then he's not bothered about the other 2 domestic cups. So, yeah, and then Cesc said he wants Arsenal to win the League Cup because we haven't won it since 1993. So, yeah, so those are some of the comments from the other panelists. I think we've had a very long pod. Let's end it there. Thank you very much for your time, guys. It was a great pod today. I think we had a lot of good discussions, as usual. But it was nice to have the different views and have Ash with us this time, and have Langton back, and have Alex back. So thank you for joining us. It was a great pod. Let's continue to enjoy things from an Arsenal perspective, and just remember, going back to let's hide this, that we have 2 venues where you can watch Arsenal games, and that's at Fourways Hooters and Durban and Schlanger Hooters. All the best, guys, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Everyone.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much. Thanks, bye.
Thanks, man.
I'm just ending the stream.